Nelly has a very relevant question. A few weeks ago, I read an interview with the film director Jordan Von Roberts. Vogt Roberts? Anyways, he directed Kong Skull Island, in which he talked about directing the Metal Gear Solid movie. In theory, that's what he's working on.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on a Metal Gear movie, especially made by someone who is such a big fan?
I want to see it. I'm not opposed to it.
Want to see
I
it.
don't think it'll be
down.
good, but I want to see it.
What about like the fan aspect? Do you think that helps or hurts that like every interview he's given, he's like, this is the holy grail. If I f this up, I'm going to jump into the ocean and drown myself.
Either way, like I feel like, you know, there's a certain issue with like having dogma for, you know, being very passionate for source material and stuff. Like Scott Snyder's Watchmen. I feel like that.
Zack Snyder.
Zack Snyder. Sorry. I feel like that really suffers from like being so afraid to like mess with the adaptation, because except for like one thing at the end, it's pretty much like we're just taking the panels and making them the movie.
I thought that weird extended sequence in the comic book was weird, where it just said music playing Hallelujah, and then they make love in the ship. Anyways, that was the other like place where he went off the page.
That was
Like,
very
love-making
good.
scene. That was very bizarre.
But like it's not a bad movie, but I feel like it suffers because it tries so hard to just like be the comic book, but as a movie instead of like adapting it.
Well, some of
necessarily.
that's like Zack Snyder.
Yeah.
I mean, so it's like being a fan probably doesn't help or hurt necessarily,
Mhm.
but are you a good filmmaker? It probably like matters more than whether or not you care about the property.
What about, forget fandom, do you think it helps or hurts that he is consulting so much with Kojima, which Konami must love? But I love that, like, well, what are they going to do? Tell him not to talk to this dude? But he is really becoming buddies with Hideo Kojima. And so, in theory, Kojima is going to have some input on the Metal Gear Solid movie, which is maybe everything he's always wanted.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe Kojima can just go make a film and like he would enjoy that. I think what makes Metal Gear so good though, and it's so zany and weird, that I don't think that always will translate into a larger movie audience. That sort of like zany magical realism stuff that happens in that.
Well, let's
thing.
get specific. Just to fit that story into a movie, you got to cut some characters, right? You probably have to cut Donald Anderson, DARPA chief, therefore all of Decoy Octopus.
So to be clear, this is
Metal Gear Solid 1.
Metal Gear Solid 1 is. We're
Yes.
sure that okay.
I guess
probably
I'm not
cut-
100%.
I mean,
but
you'd probably cut most of the boss characters, right?
I think
like
you would.
keep Sniper Wolf,
I think you have to keep Ocelot just in case you want to
Yeah.
move into the future. I think that's going to be important.
Liquid, Ocelot, and I think maybe Sniper. I think everyone else can be cut, and even Sniper Wolf. I'm only saying because
I would
Vulcan
s-
Raven, you'd cut.
I
Sniper
would-
Wolf, just because of the Meryl stuff. But, I mean,
Yeah.
Liquid could snipe Meryl.
yeah, that's true.
I think you cut Sniper.
Yeah, I think you cut Sniper.
All right.
I would actually keep Don
All right, I'm okay with
Anderson first before I would cut Sniper.
What about this conundrum, right? I don't know if you know this, but they are twin snakes after all. So do you cast the same person to play Liquid and Solid?
No. And in fact, his spoilers for Metal Gear Solid, the secret character that your trainer, what's his name,
Master Miller.
Mr. Miller.
Kaz Miller.
Yeah.
I think he's out of the movie too, because it would just be too weird to
It's
have
just
the
too
actor
weird,
play like.
Because they can be genetic like twins, but you modify it. You know, Liquid got the recessive genes, right?
Yeah.
He got the genes to make him look
This-
different.
I mean, really, ultimately, this brings me to my long-term theory that I've talked about before: is that Metal Gear Solid should be adapted into a musical if it's going to be adapted into anything. I really feel this way. I feel like the bosses should have their moments, their songs to explain their background and why they're in the emotional state that they're in.
Interesting.
I'm JV's like got his eyes closed and he's freaking out, but I really think if anything is going to work for Metal Gear Solid, it's musical.
For the stage?
I think it'd be
Ah,
more
either
interesting as a
way.
Broadway musical.
Plus,
Yeah.
if you
I
had
mean,
a-
it would be more
I
interesting.
mean, playing Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater, where the I don't remember anyone's names, the bee guy, like he's literally dancing on top of a rock with
The
bees.
Pain.
The Pain,
Pain.
excuse me. He's
Mr. Payne.
Mr. Pain. Like that is a musical number. It's like, who's
Yeah.
his character? Here's everything he feels. Here's his musical theme to set him up. You know?
Plus, if it's like Metal Gear Solid 1, you could get that sweet Rex's Lair music, the one that goes zoom.
Yeah.
And like that would be like a great chorus arrangement.
you can have
Yeah.
a big like musical montage for like sneaking through certain areas.
Yeah.
This will work.
But
that's
by
why,
the way,
that's why I don't think you adapt a single game. Like you maybe take some of the concepts and like do your own
Make a
thing
new
with
story.
it.
Yeah,
Because
like-
like those games are cool and fun in themselves. Like you need to do something different with a movie.
Yeah, I kind of agree with Reeves. I don't think like the wacky elements would translate, and it's not an issue usually that okay, well they're just going to do a different thing. But if it is a straight adaptation, like so much of Metal Gear is tied up into that, just like the way that David Hayter says Hind D and stuff like that. It's just ludicrous.
Oh, there you go. David Hayter is solid. JV has a great point.
Well, that's a good point.
By the way, I will put money if this movie happens. Tom Hiddleston as Liquid. He was in Kong
Okay.
Skull Island. He is an
Yeah.
awesome villain. It's basically just Loki.
He would be perfect.
He'd be so
He would be
good
so
as
good.
Liquid.
Can he do solid?
That's the. I don't think
Oh,
he
of course.
could.
He's a great impressionist. You guys haven't seen him doing impressions?
I don't think so.
Yeah, Tom Hiddleston, like an awesome impressionist.
So wait, you're going back in your theory now? You want him to play Liquid and Solid?
I think you know what? I think if anyone could do it,
I think you get Chris Helmsworth to play.
Chris. Hemsworth.
It's
Yeah,
very
who's
true.
sick?
Thank you so much for watching this excerpt from the Game Informer Show podcast. You can subscribe to the audio version and listen to new episodes airing every Thursday. We cover big games on the horizon, games that we've just reviewed. We have long-form developer interviews, a lot of fun stuff. So check it out every Thursday.